It's gonna be fun. We're gonna have a good time.
Mind focused.
Mind focused.
Huh? What? Are we rolling?
Move it.
Aren't you supposed to play video games and have like a fast reaction time and shit?
I'm getting pretty close there. So. Oh, did I get it?
Welcome back, you scoundrels. We had a pretty good weekend at Scrape Fest. We took home 3 awards, and we got ourselves a new project. This is the frame off of a 2002 Lincoln Blackwood truck. It's kind of like the first ever luxury truck, so there's a bunch of weird stuff about it, but pulled the cab off. The bed came separately. It's already been pulled. Yeah, it looks like we're going to be building a full frame for a body drop truck. And yeah, it's going to be an adventure this time. So this one should be really fun. It's also going to be challenging and hopefully really cool when it's done.
We started extending our table back out to fit the whole frame. So it's like 18 feet long. So,
and we kind of came to that decision because in body dropping a truck, you want the frame to be as low as possible, everything to already lay on the ground, so you have to cut minimal into the cab of the truck to achieve that like fully on the ground look. And with this frame, it's 8 inches tall. It has like an initial hump right here that's from factory. We took the body mounts out that are about 2 1/4 inches tall, put the body back on the frame, and it was already sitting on this initial hump, so we would have to like section top and bottom of the frame, eliminate this hump, re-engineer this rear end because it's not the prettiest thing in the world, and the client wants something completely different anyways. And in doing all that work, it's probably just going to be faster to replicate all of our body mounts on the frame table and all of our locations for everything as far as wheelbase and suspension travel and all that, and then start from scratch with 2x4 square tubing. That's 3/16 thick. So that's going to be a first for us, but we're up for the challenge, and it should be really cool. We'll fully powder coat the entire frame when it's done, and yeah, we're looking forward to it. It's going to be really fun. Hoping to get more things like this in the future. Yeah, this is just super cool. So when this came to us, it was already back halved, I think, twice. Unfortunately, this was built by the same guy that half-assed the Type 3. So it's kind of the same thing. There's a lot of cutting and a lot of random stuff welded in places where it didn't necessarily need to be. And in the end, using this setup wouldn't have achieved the goal of the truck laying body on the ground. A few shoddy welds, kind of just a basic design with basic components like these shocks and stuff. So we think we can come up with something a little prettier and a little bit better, and get this thing to actually sit where it needs to. The main issue is this initial rise in the frame from factory. Like I said, the body mounts are about 2 inches thick. We pulled those, and then the second you do that, that rear part of the truck sits right on top of this frame. So then we'd have to fillet that and take 4 inches out of that, and then you're only left with 4 inches of frame anyways, so it's easier just to run a full flat frame. You have a slight rise in the front for the cross member in the front to like hold the motor and everything, and then we can run straight back to our C-notch in the back, and then have all of our body mounts kind of come up from the frame to catch the body in the bed, and then should just make everything much easier. So once we locate all the body mounts, first of all, we're extending our frame table about 10 feet to accommodate the 18-foot frame, and then locating all the body mounts off of the frame table. When we build our new frame, we can kind of just replicate the drop we're looking for in our body mounts, and then start cutting some thick wall square tubing or rectangle tubing, and building a whole ass truck from nothing. We have a lot of good components. Like the axle housing is going to stay. We might do a triangulated 4-link opposed to this traditional 4-link. But yeah, it's just like the Type 3. We're going to salvage as much as we can, but not let salvaging parts stop the progress of us building a badass truck.
Harrison was talking about the body mounts and how we have to lower them on the frame. Our plan with this thing on the frame table is that we'll take all the bumper mounts, because it kind of, you have to get the bumper in the right spot or the body won't sit. The bumpers won't line up with the body. And then every one of our body mounts will put like a locating pin onto our frame table, so that way we get the exact location of all these holes throughout the frame. And we should, at that point, just be able to measure from where the cab sits and then to the bottom of the door sills, and just drop those body mounts to that height with the bottom of our frame. A couple other things we have to do, since the body's gonna be so low on the frame. The last guy that built this truck never even had the drive shaft attached, because all these support beams going horizontal through the truck, the drive shaft couldn't even get high enough to connect to the differential. So we'll probably end up having to do a new tunnel on the cab just to get enough room for the drive shaft to even fit. All right, so we're going to try to reuse these front control arms and spindles and everything. So we already have like Willwood brakes for them, and it does seem that they're set up pretty well. They have lots of raise and drop, like, so you can so once it does body drop, we should be able to still turn the wheels and stuff when you're aired up all the way. We've already noticed a couple issues, like the driver's side ball joint doesn't seem to screw in as far as the passenger side. And when we had the wheel out, or when we took the wheel off, we noticed that the ball joint was actually rubbing on the barrel of the wheel. So we need to take this apart and see if they drilled out this spindle and not that side, or what was kind of going on. Because these spindles, they say they're supposed to be for 18-inch wheels, and we have 24-inch wheels, and they're rubbing the wheels. So we just kind of got to look at everything a lot closer before we decide if we're going to go with these or not.
So yeah, really, what we're using this frame for is locating body mounts and locations for axles and cross members and stuff like that. And then we'll be getting a lot of material, and we'll start building our own. There's obviously going to have to be lateral cross members throughout the whole thing, and the main cradle here in the front. But, you know, we have the plasma table, we have the capability. We'll just measure 1,000 times before we weld something, and yeah, let's do our first body drop truck.
We have the technology.
We have the technology.
We can say
almost the brain power, all the technology. So yeah, it should be really fun.
And then up here in the front of the truck, you'll see that the previous guy cut out like a bunch of the wheel arch, so that way they could fit the 24s. But we need to go about 3.5 inches lower with the whole body. So we measured that, and we have about 4 inches until there's no metal left. So there's not going to be enough metal to hold it together. So we're going to do some sort of like interior tube that goes on the other side of the wheel near the engine that holds the front clip to the body. Doesn't really, I mean, the frame is attached to the bumpers and everything. So I think for like crash support and the main body support, that holds everything together up in front of the wheels. And those arches that he cut out kind of just hold the fenders together. There's no real mounting points off of them. So we think getting rid of the outside and running just a new tube on the inside of the wheel, we can get away with that. And then just on those tubes, we'll have to make mounts so the fenders can bolt onto them. But Then you'll also probably see that he already cut the firewall open. So we'll probably have to do some sort of small half tub on the firewall. So that way it's sealed off again. Hopefully that's not too much work here up in the front, but we'll see.
Cool. Talking about the bed.
Yeah, so on these Lincoln Blackwoods, this bed is not like a standard bed. It's some sort of composite material, like the whole thing, instead of like a steel bed that they would have used on a F-150. So this bed has never been back on that frame once the other guy finished this whole section. So we're kind of flying blind on the bed, but we're hoping that we can keep some of there's a metal structure underneath the bed that holds all these ABS fiberglass panels together. We're hoping we can basically just cut out the floor, keep most of the frame, and set it over our new, because our new frame should be slightly narrower than his frame, because he kept the stock width of the frame. But messing with this fiberglass ABS bed, we're going to have to do a lot of double checking before we start cutting, because we really can't add back on to plastic material. So it'll be exciting. And then this truck was only made for a single year, 2002, because it was, I don't know, the market was not there for it when it was produced. And between like this fiberglass bed and whatnot, and Harrison talked earlier about the payload capacity only could handle 4 grown adults inside the cab.
Or 3 fat chicks.
Or 3 fat chicks. It just wasn't a very successful truck when it came out, so it's going to end up being like one of the most unique body drop trucks, we think, because Harrison doesn't think there's another one out there, and there's only another one bagged that we have ever seen. So it may be one of a kind. Maybe somebody in their garage in the middle of Montana has done it before, but yeah, it'll be one of a kind. like details. Yeah, so this is, for now, the Type 3 is kind of just going to be sitting at Harrison's house until we get a motor back from the motor builder. So this is going to be our new main project. We'll be doing a whole series on it, start to finish. Yeah, if you followed the Type 3 and know truck guys that would be interested in this kind of thing, send them our way.
Hi.
Hey.
Am I good?
Well, if you're next to him, you're in focus.
And yeah, like we always say, the best thing you can do for us is to watch a couple more videos and share it with a friend. This is kind of deviating from the whole Volkswagen thing we've been doing primarily, so we're diversifying ourselves, diversifying the channel, and if you guys want to support us, just keep watching the channel, share it with a friend, and maybe pick up some merch. Follow us on all the platforms, and we'll keep building the crazy stuff that you guys like, because you're all scoundrels.
This is going to be Harrison's first main, build. It's not a Volkswagen.
Yeah, this is the first, big non-VW project, so it's already kind of inspiring me to put the Rabbit up for sale and start on a truck for myself and for the shop, so yeah, might have a couple body drop trucks here soon. Found a really cool one on Marketplace that I want to buy. So, yeah. Because, I found an old PG&E truck on Marketplace with the utility bed.